So I get it, there are hundreds of sourdough recipes out there on YouTube. But what if I can show you a really simple and foolproof recipe that works every single time? You have come to the right place. Join me in the kitchen. When making bread, it is very important to use exact measurements to maintain the consistency of the recipe. The best measuring standard for baking is the use of grams. The recipe I'm using today is for 1 loaf of sour bread only. I'll put all the measurements for making either 1, 2, or 3 loaves of bread in the description below. This recipe is a no-knead recipe. I'll do a video at a later date on how to make sourdough starter at home from scratch. It's an easy process and one that anybody can do. Let's begin. Measure out 214 grams of leaven. Using either an elastic band or a marking pen, mark the level of the leaven. Once the leaven has doubled in size, it is ready for the next step. In a large mixing bowl, add 355 grams of bread flour. I use stone ground unbleached flour for the best results. You may also use all-purpose flour if you do not have any bread flour. Add 12 grams of salt and mix it into the flour. Add the leaven to the flour. Then add 240 grams of filtered water to the mix. If you have leaven still in the bottle, then just use the water to get the rest of the leaven out. Using a Danish whisk or your hand, mix the ingredients together. For the last part of the mixing, I always use my hand to ensure that it is thoroughly mixed. Once it is all mixed, cover it with a damp dish towel and set a timer for 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, remove the towel and wet your hand. This will prevent the dough from sticking to your hand. Scoop the dough from the bottom and pull and stretch it in an upward motion. Do this 3 times. Make sure that the dough does not break. Place the dish towel over the bowl and set a timer for an additional 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, repeat the stretching and folding of the dough. Once again, place the dish towel over the bowl and set the timer for 20 minutes again. Since this is a no-knead recipe, the stretching and folding help to develop the gluten in the dough. After completing the last 3 stretches and folds, cover the dough and let it rest for about 2 to 3 hours. Once the dough has rested, then turn it onto a well-floured board and use a dough scraper to ensure you get most of the dough out of the bowl. Spread the dough out a little and fold the dough using 3 to 4 folds and then repeat it a second time. Make sure there's enough flour on the board and use a little on your hands and roll and tuck the dough into a ball. Using a flour sifter, sift white rice flour all over the Banneton proofing bowl, which will prevent the dough from sticking to the Banneton. Once it has firmed up a little, place the dough seam side up into the Banneton proofing bowl. Pinch the seam closed and then cover it. place the Banneton into the refrigerator for 8 to 12 hours. If you're not going to place it into the fridge, then you should let it proof for around about 5 hours. Once the proofing has been completed, turn on the oven to 430 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about 225 degrees Celsius, making sure that the Dutch oven is preheated in the oven during this time. Please make sure that you use quality oven gloves, as the oven can cause severe burns. Place the dough on a silicone sling and using a blade or a sharp knife, make a quick slice in the dough and place the dough into the Dutch oven. Spray a little water or sprinkle a little water and then place the lid on top and return to the oven and then bake for 20 minutes. After 20 minutes, lower the temperature to 410 degrees Fahrenheit. This is 210 degrees Celsius. Remove the lid from the Dutch oven and bake for an additional 25 minutes. Remove the Dutch oven from the oven and then remove the freshly baked bread to a cooling rack and let it cool down for 30 minutes before eating. And there you have it, delicious freshly baked sourdough bread.
I'm just going to go ahead and have a taste. Can you hear the crunch? It's really just amazing. It's really amazing. You can taste the sourness of the sourdough bread. It's got the great texture. Just really amazing piece of bread. I want to encourage you to go and try this recipe. You will not be disappointed. And all I can say is, now that is lekker.